Hi, Brandy.
Hello, Steve.
First time the Zoom told me it was being recorded.
I know it said the same thing when I opened it up, which is surprising. It must be a new feature. I know, gotta loosen up. Right? I can't quite stretch my fingers anymore.
I used to be able to touch my fingertips to my wrist
Oh.
because I'm double jointed.
Oh. That's creepy.
It is.
Does that hurt? Does it, like, as you get older, like arthritic kind of stuff?
It aches. Yeah, they actually set into a joint.
Oh.
You can feel it snap in there. But it's handy because I can pick things up like a vice grips.
Because that's what I do.
I'm double jointed too. I feel your pain.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yes, it is.
Ugh. It's creepy. I've seen like some of those like dance shows or wherever where the guys like can put their arms like it just does. It's not right.
Yeah, that I can't do. I can barely scratch my back.
Oh.
Hey guys,
Hello.
Hey, Jim.
it says you're recording already.
Yes. And part of that has to do with the last meeting. The recording didn't work. So I wanted to make sure that it was up and on and I don't hit the wrong buttons or do anything like that because it's not fun to have to try to do minutes without a recording.
Wish I could turn some of my lights on. Looks like all the bulbs are out since COVID.
Are you at your office?
Yeah,
How do you like being back to work with all the peoples?
I like it, but it's not all the people yet. There's only maybe 7 or so.
A nice soft opening.
Yep, we're back and running in July 5th. We're full back.
Okay.
But they put in place a telecommute policy, so you can start requesting it because they found it to be as productive or even more productive.
Mm-hmm.
So you request it from your supervisor, you potentially can get approved.
I think
They're saying 100% back. It won't quite be, but with me being a product manager, it's too important for me to talk to people. So I suspect I'll be 3 or 4 days at a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm doing 3. Do you know how to get this agenda to go to stay on longer so it doesn't keep timing out?
I don't know because I don't use the other side of it with agenda to go, but I can ask Lou. I don't know. Maybe Jane Oh, Jane's not on here anymore. Never mind. I can, maybe Steve knows. Steve does not know. Okay.
Mm.
I can ask Lou if you'd like.
Yeah, I can look into it too.
Okay.
It's real nice for comments, but then when it times out, it's hard to say log back in and run the meeting still.
Mhm. One of the things that I am going to ask you, Jim, once we open up the meeting is under the approval of the minutes. I'd like to
Mhm.
pull the March 23rd minutes from approval because the draft of the draft is what got put in the packet, not the actual updated draft for you guys to approve.
Yep, and I apologize. I actually did have a couple comments I meant to call you on, and I forgot.
That's okay. So I'd like to have on the March 23rd ones, not to take any action on that. And I'll get the correct minutes in the packet for the next meeting.
Do you want a couple comments while we're waiting the 4 minutes?
Yeah, if you've got a couple, I know Jean gave me a few, and that's when I realized I have the draft of the draft in there, so.
So on the page 4, it says motion fails 7-1.
Yep,
So I
I've got,
think that should be 1-6.
yeah, in my, in my updated draft, that was changed, and that's where I realized that you guys got the draft of my draft, so.
Yep.
I've got that one already.
And then under still the same page 4, that last line B, there's a high that should be, I think, the. See that? 1B.
1B, address all comments to the consulting rate. Oh, yeah.
And then 1D on the next page.
Okay.
I circled,
I think these are all corrected in my final draft.
I'm guessing so because they're
Yeah,
the obvious typos.
yeah.
It says
It's
if the 15,
colon, yeah.
yeah, and then face and that same thing.
Yep. Got those two.
I think that's, oh, on page 7 of 7,
Okay.
it's quoting from me. And it talks about the density. So which will bring a higher density to lands available along Innovation Drive. I don't know if I said that. What I would have meant to say, or what I thought I said, is would have bring higher density to lands available in Conservancy Place.
All right. I'd have to go back to the minutes and get that.
Yep, if you could check that.
Yeah. Because I do typically just type it right out of the minutes, but I
Mhm.
will definitely check that one.
Okay.
All right, let's see how we're looking here. All right. Jim, I'm ready whenever you are.
I'm trying to expand it so I can see everybody.
We do have everybody from P and Z.
Yep, I see all 6. Okay. I am showing that it is 6 o'clock. I'll bring the Tuesday, May 25th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order. Brandy, do you want to note roll call?
Noted.
And Pledge of Allegiance. Brian, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Brian. So approval of the minutes, item number 3. It was requested by Brandy that we do not approve the March 23rd meetings minutes at this time. It will instead come to our next commission meeting. There was some draft words in there that wanted to be corrected. So we are moving on to item 3.2, and I'm looking for a motion or discussions on the May 10th, 2021 minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Tom. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Scott. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously 7-0. Appearances before the commission is item number 4. Brandy, do we have anybody that's?
I don't have
So
anybody that registered, no.
I would ask if anybody wants to appear before the commission, if you could please take your whatever monitor or phone, whatever, off mute, and please speak up at this point. Otherwise, we'll move on to our action and public hearing items, and we might be able to take you at that time. Okay, we'll move on to item 5.1, action on a CSM dividing 8.15 acres, including all the parcels, the 3 parcel numbers listed on the agenda, and the southern portions of a parcel to their northwest into 4 lots to facilitate the edge of Conservancy mixed-use development, northeast of the intersection of Innovation Drive and Conservancy Way, which is the realigned River Road in Conservancy Place Plan Unit Development. Randy or Mark, did you want to start this one?
Sure. So the Plan Commission unanimously recommended this certified survey map to the board last meeting. That would have been an appropriate action had there been any right-of-way or outlot dedications within this particular CSM. Based on my error, there were not. And so the action of the commission ought to have been to approve the certified survey map as opposed to recommend it. So as a cleanup action, we're asking the commission tonight to approve Resolution 2021-908, which would act to approve the certified survey map subject to the exact same conditions that you unanimously recommended them last meeting. Happy to answer any questions.
So is there anybody willing to make that motion to approve the resolution 2021-908? Or wishing to discuss?
I'll make a
further?
motion to approve. Colleen.
Motion by Colleen. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Brian. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Again, passes unanimously 7-0. And back to the agenda. Item 5.2, a public hearing to request to rezone 2.57 acres of land located at 6391 Northtown Road. Parcel number is noted in the agenda. Lot 4, which is Lot 4, CSM 12989, from B2 General Business District to M2 General Industrial District. Probably Brandy, I'm guessing, or is that Mark?
This is me again too. I'll kick this off, and this is probably going to seem like another case of deja vu.
Hang on,
Because-
Mark.
Oh,
Sorry, Jim, I need you to officially
Oh,
open the public hearing.
yep. The public hearing is open at 6:05.
Thank you, sorry.
Sorry, Mark.
you took away my joke.
Sorry.
Okay. So there was a very similar request that you heard in winter of 2020 to rezone this same land for a similar purpose. That approval has expired, and the site plan approval that followed it expired because that particular builder or applicant elected not to move forward with that plan. The proposed rezoning today is similar in that it suggests the rezoning of this currently B2 site to M2 in a manner that would facilitate a collection of multi-tenant industrial service and warehouse buildings. The primary difference you see from what you'll see for this proposal compared to the proposal from last year is that there are fewer buildings and fewer units. The applicant can explain this better than I can, but with the prior proposal, there was a lot of site work involved in trying to fit that many units. The site work has been reduced by trying to put fewer buildings in now. And in addition to that, it has an added bonus of preserving many of the mature trees that with the prior proposal were to be removed. So we're in the first step of a two-step process. This step would involve the rezoning of the land to M2. And the proposed conditions of approval for that rezoning are included in the resolution that's in your packet. And that resolution, or I'm sorry, it's an ordinance, it's a board ordinance. And that board ordinance suggests that, broadly speaking, while the recommendation is to rezone it to M2, that there will be checks and balances in place to make sure that the quality of the project is compatible with other development in the area, including the Bell Labs headquarters to the north and other newer development. So we're asking that the commission recommend approval of the rezoning subject to the conditions that Brandy has on screen right now that would apply higher design standards according to the covenants for this area. And that would link the approval of the rezoning to the execution of the plan that you're seeing and not allow just any M2 use to develop on the property. I'll be happy to answer more questions once we leave the public hearing. Thank you.
I see there is a couple names that I don't recognize that may be here for the public that wishing to speak at the public hearing. If you could please come off mute and state your name if you wish to speak at this time.
Jim Mike Hawkins with Snyder and Associates. I'm here to present as much as you would like me to present as it relates to the layout and how we got to where we are now versus the prior layout. And I can do that now, or if you want to find out if there's any other questions out there, that's fine. And I can try to answer those as part of my presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. And could you state your address for the record, please?
5010 Bogus Road in Madison.
Randy, do you want a form filled out? I'm assuming because Mike is part of the applicant, he'd be good.
That's correct. Yep, he's a part of the application process here, so he doesn't need to register.
I guess I can ask if anybody has questions for Mike. I think we can also probably ask questions underneath item 5.3 of Mike too. But So I do not see anybody else wishing to speak. So at this time, I am going to close the public hearing at 6:10 and move on to item 5.3. With this discussion and recommendation on a request to rezone the 2.57 acres of land located at 6391 Northtown Road, parcel number as listed on the agenda, Lot 4 CSM 12989 from B2 General Business District to M2 General Industrial District. Mark or Brandy, you have any comments, or maybe Mike wants to do a little bit of a presentation?
Yeah, that's what I would suggest. And the one thing I will mention is that based on a request that you may have seen in the report, the applicant has submitted some elevations, renderings of what these buildings might look like. And I don't know, Brandy, if you have them available, but I certainly do on my screen if you don't. Looks like you do.
They're coming up slowly, I think.
Got to get that Commodore computer upgraded.
Right. There we go. Can you see
So
those?
to the extent that this, applies the, there's building design standards in the M2 district. There's also building design standards that are applicable to the Northtown Corporate Park. Just like the last proposal, the idea with this development is that it would be subject to both, and the village could apply both as zoning type standards once we get to the site plan review stage, which would come after the board were to act on the rezoning proposal. So this building as proposed is a combination of brick near the base, LP smart siding on the other kind of upper siding materials in different formats, and then windows on all four sides of the building. And in the packet is the site plan that shows the orientation of the buildings. And I think one thing that's noteworthy about that is that these buildings are quite a bit further back from the corner than the plan that you saw last year. And so you're not going to, and then there'll be landscaping and other things in between. So they're not as front and center, if you remember the plan from last time. And in fact, several of the buildings will be behind what, will hopefully be a fairly nice grove of oaks that will remain in this area. So I'm sorry, Mike, if I stole any of your thunder, but I just wanted to mention the elevations were submitted mostly, and, I think they're on the right track in my opinion.
Right. And, moving into the next step, zero in on I got an echo going on here. There you go. Would get the colors and things nailed down with the elevations. But I guess just to touch base, the prior submittal had 20 units. This proposal has 15 units, and a lot of it's driven by the prior proposal. When it got bid out, the site work, there was like $125,000 of retaining wall in order to get those extra 5 units in there. And the earthwork wasn't balancing, so there was trucking cost associated with it. And so, and the desire to save some of the trees and keep that Bell Labs feel, I guess, is something the applicant was interested in pursuing. So the reduction in site work allows the reduction in unit, and we had to pull the buildings off the property line because of the grade changes that are going on. And we're kind of limited in our access point due to collector streets on both sides. We have the one access that's 200 feet away from the intersection of Northtown and Duraform. And then we got a T turnaround for the emergency vehicles that would come in. That's because we get to that 150-foot length. So I think we've addressed most of the comments that were in the prior layout also, but kind of where we're at and looking for any feedback, but I think we got a good clean plan now, and hopefully we're waiting for the final bids to come out on the site work too. So we're looking to move forward as soon as possible if we obtain approval tonight.
Thank you, Mike. Is there anybody say having questions for Mike or Mark, or want to open up discussion?
Jim, I have a question.
Okay.
And I guess this is for Mark. Mark, we have another kick at the cat for the approval of the site plan, correct?
That's correct. This is just a concept plan, both in the layout and the building elevations. And Mike did make a good point, is that by village standards, both Durform Lane and Northtown Road are classified as collector streets, which have access control associated with them. And the collection of those various standards that apply pretty much push the access to the point where you're seeing it right here, spacing from Stack Drive to the west, spacing from Northtown Road to the east. And related to that, one of the comments that we had from the fire chief, which is typical, and Mike's familiar with this, is to make sure that the largest fire truck can negotiate the facility if need be, which doesn't appear to be an issue. But there'll be a turning movement exhibit when you see the site plan.
Anything further, Brian?
Nope. Pardon my analogy of kick at the cat. I'm kind of old fashioned that way. So not that I wanted to kick a cat.
Thanks for clarifying. Oh,
Yeah,
there's,
I'll hopefully see you in the cat.
Because it's being recorded.
Taking offense, he
we're
won't even look
including
at
that
you,
in the
Brian.
minutes. Brian Taylor threatened to kick a cat.
Oh, at least you're far enough away that I can swing the cat.
Can we go back-
Mike Hickok, you had a comment.
Can we go back to the elevations just for a sec? I think my questions got answered, so I just wanted to look at which direction these things were facing. Okay. Yeah, my question got answered when this was brought up then.
I think similar to the last time, I don't know if this is where you're going, but as another point, the restrictions on this development last time were no outdoor storage. So, you're going to see buildings, parked vehicles, landscaping on this site, no outdoor storage, which obviously will help the appearance given the visibility of it as well.
I think the other, not quite as tall as this one. It's going to be more office development, where this is more warehouse, office with warehouse.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mike. Anything else?
That for me.
Is there anybody else wishing to speak? Jean?
Yeah. Can you, when we looked at this last November or whenever it was, did we have a connection to the west on that local street?
No, we
I
didn't.
mean, I realize that this is a conceptual and that it's not final or anything, but is there an opportunity to create that?
What you see on the west edge is a driveway for the industrial building that is further west. I suppose with a site redesign, there would be an opportunity, site redesign in collaboration with that property owner, there would be an opportunity to share a driveway there. The applicant has decided not to pursue that. And we don't have anything to necessarily compel that. They meet the zoning requirements as shown.
Okay. The only reason why I suggested is because it would give it another opportunity in and out.
Yeah.
Okay, but so when we looked at the site plan in November, we didn't have a connection to that driveway
No.
west? Okay.
The one thing that related to that, Gene, it's not a direct connection, but it's a fire connection, is that when the fire chief did look at this plan, he said, well, that effectively serves as a fire access road for me to get to the backs of these buildings if I need to. And similarly, the GRB site is directly south of here. So there's pretty much 360 access for emergency services, at least, if not for daily use.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Is there anybody else wishing to speak? Mark, I will make a similar comment. I think I personally would like to see a second entrance. I think it would create a better flow. I don't know what sort of process we might be talking about to waive that, or I guess a fallback plan is to do something that we've done at a couple locations and at least have a fire exit where they could drive out that northern extent of the parking lot or something.
Yeah, we did explore the possibility of, if you can see, it's not a great color I'm using here, but of another driveway out there, basically to have a second driveway that runs afoul of zoning standards that require a minimum of, is it 150 feet, Brandy?
Yes.
150 feet from intersection to another street, driveway or street across the way, and this isn't that length. So Jim, you asked the question, how could it happen? It would require a variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals to make it happen. There's no like conditional use opportunity for P&Z to grant it. It's not, the ordinance isn't written that way.
What about a fire? I'm trying to remember the edge of the, how they have a spot where somebody can at least drive out in an emergency situation.
We will certainly ask the chief, because we did talk about this at staff. The whole topic of a second driveway was brought up at that meeting. Brandy already knew this answer, but Brandy and I looked at, whether that met the code requirements, and it doesn't. But, just like we've dealt with other proposals for fire access where it's used, occasionally or never, that doesn't, those standards wouldn't apply. So we'll certainly raise it with the chief as to whether, he would like to do that. It may require some additional grading, which may impact more trees. So there's kind of a trade-off here. Those large oaks have big root systems that extend usually well beyond the canopy of the tree. So it's a balancing act, I suppose.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Sure.
Anybody else wishing to speak? Seeing none, I will ask if we could go to a motion. I'm trying to remember the motion. There was a ordinance, so I'm assuming the motion would be to recommend approval of the ordinance.
That's right. And there's 3 suggested conditions there that kind of wind back to my initial presentation tonight that are listed in the ordinance that I'd encourage the commission to consider and as part of the motion.
Mm-hmm. Is there anybody willing to make the motion? Yes, I will make a motion to recommend the village board approval of the rezoning resolution. I don't have it right in front of me.
21011, Jim.
Thank you, Brian. So that is the motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Scott. Thank you. So motion by Jim, second by Scott. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0 unanimously. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And we are on to presentation and discussion, but I don't see any items listed. So is there anything?
Oh, boy. No.
And any other businesses? Item number 7, chair's report. I was starting to look into that. And as far as at the village board, we recognize Jason Kramer for his many years of service. So that was a very nice little presentation. He will get a resolution thanking him. The CSM that is with, I keep looking at the Edu Conservancy, that dedicates or shows the realignment of River Road, that was approved at the board. A Community Development Authority, there's some resolutions that I think was transferring land with that. And also some improvement projects. and one of them being the parking lot at Sunfish Pond, and also improvements to Fox Hills Estates. There is a couple resolutions on moving forward those improvements and giving people authority to do that. That's all I had listed down. I see Jane's on the line. If she wants to add anything, feel free, or we can move on to.
Jim?
Yep.
Yep, I would like to invite everyone who's here to participate in the June 1st meeting, both of Committee of the Whole and the Village Board meeting. We're going to begin reviewing and discussing the comprehensive plan, and we'll be talking about housing and neighborhoods and economic development. So feel free to join us, and hopefully many of you will. And that's all I had.
Thank you, Jane. So item 7.2, staff report. Guess I'll look at you, Brandy.
Yeah, something, but it just totally left my brain, and I've been sitting here while you guys were talking, trying to remember what it was. And I'm drawing a blank, so I'll say nothing to present today.
Michelle, is there anything you want to add?
No, thank you very much. I'm good.
Jim, if you don't mind, I have something real quick.
Yeah.
We're probably going to have a busy summer at P&Z, and we only have 7 members right now because our alternates have graduated.
Oh, Mark,
You went.
Sorry, we have a special meeting scheduled that we'll get to in a second for June 14th. We may have others this summer, but in any case, our agendas will likely be full. We need four of you at each meeting to make them go. So if you might be out, I think, Brandy and I would both appreciate, knowing that in advance so we can plan accordingly. Sorry, Brandy, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
I have no thunder.
Okay.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Steve, I see you came off mute. Do you want to add anything?
Nope. Thanks for asking.
And they're going to.
Jean, you have a comment?
I wanted Brandy just to refresh everyone's memory. So it's the 3rd Tuesday of every month plus the 2nd Monday or 1st Monday.
I'm sorry. It's the special meeting is for the 2nd Monday of every month.
Okay.
The regular meeting is the 4th Tuesday.
So it's the 4th Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian, did you have something you wanted to say?
No, they just answered my question, so I'm good.
Okay. Thank you. So item 7.3, site plan approvals. Anything, Brandy?
The only thing I think I have to share, I didn't share the last meeting, is that we did do a site plan approval in the ETZ Burke jurisdiction for Weld Corp fabrication facility, which will be located out by Gander Outdoors on Metro Drive.
Thank you.
And it's only going to be a matter of time before we put signal lights up there.
Kind of the hope.
It's coming.
It's
Especially after those guys go in there, I think it's probably going to push it to the limit where they're going to put them in.
We got to get those DOT people to work over there.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Well, if the speed limit was adhered to at 45, it'd be okay, but it's not.
Well, they just had an accident just last week. Somebody was pulling out of Pinecone and of course was blocking northbound traffic, and somebody wasn't paying attention and hit the back end of the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to say on that note, thank you, Jean, for stepping up and being on the 2 ETZ committees. I'm sure you'll have fun. I wish I could have continued, but yeah.
Jean will love working with me and Mike.
Yeah.
I will.
It's me. She's gonna love working with, guys.
Well.
Brandy
everybody
has it
loves
right.
Brandy.
Be
So
real.
So Brandy, now item 7.4 CSMs, is there anything with that?
No.
Item 7.5, development process and enforcement suggestions. Anybody? I had something, but I'll have to get back to you because I don't remember it. But I don't see anybody raising their hand. So next meeting is June 14th. And that sounds like that's one of the special Monday ones.
Yeah. And if anybody's not able to attend that meeting, can you just shoot me an email? Please.
And the next item, item 8, adjournment.
I'll make a
Anybody
mo-
wishing? I see Mike,
I'll make
other
a mo-
hand. Thank you, Mike.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Brian. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we are adjourned. Motion passes 7-0 and it is 6:31 p.m.
Well, don't expect the rest of the meeting to be this short. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Have a
thank you
great
all.
holiday
Everybody
weekend.
take care.
Oh, yeah, you too. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for your time.
All right, good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye.
Brandy, I am coming to the village hall to sign something Thursday morning.
Mhm.
I forget, I think there was one resolution tonight,
Yep.
wasn't there?
Yeah, the resolution 2021,
Yep.
2021, 11, I think it was, but I'll, there's no change. Let me just double check.
It was whatever for item 5.1.
Yep. I will go ahead and print that out. It's for the CF investments.
Yep.
CSM.
Mhm.
So I will get that printed and I will put it out. Do you want me to put it out front for you or just leave it at the front desk?
Why don't you